Good morning. Welcome into First Take. I'm Molly Karam, and today we're diving into the firestorm that is the NBA playoffs, with the NFL draft looming just around the corner. But first, let's get straight to hardwood, where Monday night delivered a clash rich with controversy, underperformance, and a kind of postseason pressure that separates the stars from the legends. The New York Knicks, locked in a tightly contested series, found themselves outpaced in a 104-94 loss to the Detroit Pistons. The game wasn't just about the scoreboard. It was about what wasn't being called. The Pistons stepped to the free throw line a staggering 34 times, while the Knicks earned just 19 attempts. That kind of disparity doesn't just show up in the box score. It ignites frustration, especially from a seasoned sideline general like Tom Thibodeau. The Knicks head coach didn't mince words post-game, decry what he called a huge discrepancy and demanding consistency. In Thibodeau's view, if Cade Cunningham is earning whistles on marginal contact, then Jalen Brunson deserves the same respect. And that's the kind of comment that echoes deep in the postseason, where every possession is magnified and every foul, or lack thereof, can alter a series. But while officiating drew Thibodeau's ire, the real story unfolded in the silence, specifically the silence of Karl Anthony Towns. The all-star center, who had been a pillar of consistency during the regular season, vanished when it mattered most. After a dunk midway through the second quarter, Towns failed to score again. Not a single point in the second half. This wasn't just a cold streak. It was the first time in his playoff career he went scoreless in an entire half. The implications are damning. A player averaging 24 points and 12 rebounds this season was expected to elevate, especially under the bright lights of Madison Square Garden. Instead, he disappeared. Stephen A. Smith was quick to pounce, calling Towns' performance impotent and highlighting the Knicks' offensive stagnation. 2 quarters with fewer than 20 points, missed shots down the stretch, and a glaring absence from a supposed superstar. Towns took just 3 shots in the second half. That's not just inefficiency, it's passivity. And in the postseason, passivity is a killer. You can't be the anchor of franchise and fade into the background while your team scrapes for offense. But not everyone agreed on the narrative. Marcus Morris shifted the spotlight to Cade Cunningham, whose brilliance couldn't be ignored. The former number 1 overall pick delivered poise, execution, and clutch play down the stretch. Every critical pass, every decisive drive. Cunningham was at the center of it all. He adjusted to the pressure, embraced the challenge, and transformed into the scorer his team needed. He wasn't just good, he was surgical. And his impact was decisive, especially with veterans like Tim Hardaway Jr. offering little support. 0 points in a postseason game from a key rotational piece simply isn't acceptable. Shannon Sharpe jumped into the debate, reminding the panel and fans that what we're seeing from Towns isn't new. It's a pattern. In last year's Dallas series, the conversation was identical. Towns camped out on the perimeter, settling for threes instead of asserting dominance in the paint. Despite his self-proclaimed title as the greatest shooting big man in NBA history, there's a time when finesse must give way to force. Tobias Harris, undersized and overmatched, was tasked with guarding Towns. That should have spelled disaster for Detroit. Instead, Towns allowed the mismatch to go unpunished. Marcus and Shannon both made a poignant point. It's about mentality. Towns has the tools, but not the temperament. You're playing at the Mecca under the banners of basketball royalty, and your star big man shrinks from a moment? You don't finesse your way through the playoffs. You fight. You rebound. You draw contact. You get to the line. You demand the ball. This is the postseason. This is New York. Jalen Brunson, meanwhile, continued to carry the weight of the Knicks on his shoulders. But the load is growing heavier. Without consistent support from Towns, and with Bridges misfiring on open looks, Brunson can't do it alone. The Knicks thrived last year on grit, resilience, and chemistry. Now, they need their stars to deliver, not disappear. Stephen A. closed the argument with urgency. This isn't Boston. This isn't Milwaukee. This is Detroit, a young, ascending team, yes, but still a team the Knicks were expected to beat. And in the biggest moments, Towns gave them nothing. Not a bucket, not a spark, not even a presence. You can't afford that in April. And so, As the series shifts and the pressure mounts, the question looms large. Will Karl Anthony Towns respond like a star or retreat into the shadows once again? Because if he doesn't rise, the Knicks may find themselves on the wrong side of history, wondering what could have been if their all-star had simply shown up. Elsewhere in the West, another star answered the call. Kawhi Leonard erupted for 39 points on 15 of 19 shooting, lifting the Clippers to a gutsy 105-102 win over the Nuggets in Denver and leveling their first-round series. Leonard reminded everyone exactly why he's one of the most lethal postseason performers of his generation. Efficient, unshakable, and timely. When the Clippers needed him most, he delivered. And that, Karl Anthony Towns, is what postseason greatness looks like.